I doubled my SMMA by replacing my onboarding calls. So I got more clients from referrals. I cut down on my own workload massively by not doing like long 1 hour onboarding calls. I improved customer retention, satisfaction, and it allowed me to skip the usual onboarding gridlock that usually happens when you have to onboard a client manually. So if you're sick of 1 hour onboarding calls and the frustration that comes with that, both for you and your clients, then watch to the end of this video because I'm gonna drop some serious value on how I do this within my own agency. I'm gonna show you my onboarding process from start to end and how I automate everything so that it requires no input from me. And then I'll show you how you can implement this into your own business. But first, I just wanna start with something on the importance of onboarding. So clients are forming their opinion of you and your business from the moment they pay the invoice, and you've got a 24-hour window to seriously impress them. So what we think matters as the business owner, we think it's all about like results, right? And the onboarding process is just getting set up. Like this is kind of like a skip period. It doesn't really matter. The clock starts on you to impress them from the moment they pay the invoice. So do not leave your onboarding process as like an afterthought. If you're not communicating with them, if they feel like you're ducking them, if they're confused about the next steps, or if their first experience working with you involves a bunch of like tech issues, they're gonna start seriously questioning whether they made the right decision to work with you before you've even had a chance to impress them with your results. And this is why your client relationships are starting off on the wrong foot, which is causing refunds and other problems down the line. So let's start from the beginning. You're in a sales call with a prospect, you pitch, they say yes, you send the invoice, they pay the invoice. Okay. Now the onboarding process starts. So what happens? What do I do? So I go into my CRM. This is where I track all my leads, my prospects, my calls, etc. And I take the prospect that I'm in a call with who just paid. I grab that opportunity and I mark them as won. So I won that deal, prospects won. So I put that in there. And that is going to trigger a couple of different automations. Let me go into my automations and show you. So two things are going to happen. Firstly, by marking that opportunity as won, that's then going to put them from my sales pipeline into my onboarding pipeline. So this opportunity is no longer a prospect or a lead. This person's now getting onboarded. So let me show you that. So I go up here, I go into my onboarding pipeline. So I have a pipeline for sales, which you're probably familiar with, but I also have a pipeline for onboarding. So then the lead is now automatically added into the onboarding pipeline. So this is where I can track where they are in the onboarding process. So I've got a couple of different pipeline stages, so you can see that. As you can see, the first stage is the onboarding funnel sent. So this is really where it gets really interesting. So I have an onboarding funnel. So let me show you that. I actually built it under the websites tab, not the funnels tab. Don't know why, it's just what I did. So this is the onboarding funnel. Basically, it's a series of steps like a funnel, but the goal isn't to get them to book a call. The goal is to get them to complete a series of steps. So on each page, I have a headline that tells them like what they need to do. I have a video that shows them how to do it. Below the video, I have written out the steps on how to do it. And then I have a button to go to the next step or the previous step. So let me show you this. Let's go to the beginning, the onboarding funnel entrance. Welcome to our onboarding funnel, blah, 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 blah. Click to get started. Okay, start. So this takes you to the first step, step one, welcome. So this is where you can begin setting healthy expectations with a client, welcoming them into your business and telling them what they need to do. For example, with communication, reporting, other important housekeeping matters, right? Make a video, put it there, and then they can go to the next step. They click next step, take them to the next step. So step 2 out of 3, payment. By the way, this onboarding funnel and the pipelines that you just saw and the automations and the forms, it's all available for free. Link below so you can use it and customize it for your own business to improve your own onboarding process. If you want to get it for free along with a free trial of the software I'm using to create this, there's a link below. Personally made my life a lot easier, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. So you might want to have a whole video dedicated to payment if it's like a monthly recurring service or whatever, or when payments should occur, how payments should occur, what the process will be if a payment is missed, things like that. Set proper expectations around payment. I think that's super important, so I give it its own step in my onboarding funnel. Once people have watched that video, they can click next step, then access. So this is where you can kind of make sure people don't have any tech issues around onboarding. If you're dealing with local businesses, they're probably not familiar with the ads manager. They're not familiar with the business suite. They don't know how to onboard. They don't know how to get themselves set up. They don't know how to grant you access to their assets. So this is where you do a whole video dedicated to explaining people how to do that, showing them how to do that in the simplest way possible. Then if you scroll down, I also have step-by-step instructions on how to do that as well. So step 1, go here, step 2, blah, blah, blah. and then making sure that you get the right permissions and everything like that. And then also in this video, I set some expectations around what to expect with the ads. So you can check the performance of any time by visiting that link, etc, 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 setting some healthy expectations about it and giving people the information they need. Now, the key to making sure that people don't have any tech issues is that you're going to be refining this particular video over and over and over again over time. So every time you put a client through this onboarding process, some clients are going to get stuck somewhere, and then they are going to have to email you and you're going to have to manually intervene. So what you do is you make a note of where they got stuck, you figure out what the solution is, you implement that solution for that client, then you're going to go and record a new clip of yourself solving that problem, and then retroactively putting this new clip into this video here already. So that way this video becomes like this living entity of like, every time somebody has a problem, you then record the solution, add it to the original video, so that your next prospects aren't going to have that problem. And then eventually this video is going to become so in depth that no one's going to have any issues. Like every single possible problem that they could run into is already addressed in the video. So in the video you can be like, this is where you share your ad account with us. This is our business ID. You put our business ID in here. If you get to this stage and you don't see your ad account, here's how you fix that. And then you continue on with the original video, for example. And then at the end of the onboarding funnels, this is step 3 out of 3. This button doesn't go to the next step. It opens a pop-up, which is going to have your onboarding questionnaire. So this is going to depend on what your service delivery is. This is where you can ask like the mundane information about their business that it wouldn't make sense to cover in the sales call. So for example, what's your business address? This is where you can put that in there so that you know when to target the ads, for example. You know, any other like mundane housekeeping information that you need to grab from the client in order to do your end of the service delivery. This is where you have the onboarding questionnaire. So it's going to depend on what your service delivery is. So I've just left it blank. And then once somebody has completed the onboarding questionnaire and you've got the information you need, it then takes them to the next step, which is this one. So in my case, my service delivery involves, they're going to film some ads with scripts I provide, and then they then send me the clips and I run them as ads. So I have a whole video on how to create those ads, and then I've got scripts here that they can use. I've got the timestamps of how to film the clips. I show them examples of the clips, how to send them to me, how to edit the clips themselves. Like if they want to do it themselves, here's how I recommend doing it, based on what I've seen work really, really well from my experience in the industry. And so this is how I get prospects to film clips and then send them to me. And then the final step is I have a whole thing on sales. Even if you're just a lead gen agency and sales isn't part of your service, it is going to be part of your problem if your clients are not able to convert the leads that you get them. So even though it's not part of your service, I still include sales training. So I give them sales scripts that they can use. I tell them how to address common concerns. I show them how to track the leads, when to follow up with leads, how to follow up with them, etc. So even though it's not part of your service, it is going to be part of your problem. So as part of my onboarding process, I do give them like a 20-minute sales training just so they can make the most of your service and get the best possible return on investment. Now, going back to the pipeline for a second, as they go through the funnel, when they complete that onboarding form, like at the end of step 3, that's then going to automatically update their position in the pipeline and bring them to there. So even though this would require, like, we're not talking to each other, I still know, oh, he's in that part of the funnel. So he's completed the onboarding funnel. He's in that part of the pipeline. So I know he's completed the onboarding funnel, and that's automatic. And then once I receive a notification that he sent some clips to me, then I know he's done filming clips as well. So then I can move them to the campaigns ready part. And then you do a final check-in before the campaigns are ready to start running. And then now the client is onboarded. That's how you automatically onboard people without any input from you. You create a few automations, an onboarding funnel, and an onboarding pipeline. And then as they go through the funnel, they can give you access to everything that you need. You can give them all the information you need. You can set the right expectations. And you're going to know where they are in the onboarding process by, forms that you can put as checkpoints. Like I've got a checkpoint at the end of step 3. So I know once they've completed step 3 and submitted that form, I know the first 3 things have been done. And just as some final thoughts around onboarding, your onboarding process should basically be a cycle of setting promises and then fulfilling those promises. So on the first day, as I said, the first 24 hours is very important. You basically want to tell them, listen, you're going to receive an email with our onboarding funnel. while you're getting set up, while you're being onboarded, we're going to be working on this. So we're going to start, I don't know, writing ad copy. Then the next day, you're going to send an email, be like, I finished your ad copy. Here it is. Take a look. Today, I'm going to start working on the next thing. And then the next day, you send them another email like, yep, finish the next thing. Here it is. Take a look, review it. Today, I'm going to start working on this. So every single day, you know, for the first 3 or 4 days, you basically want to be sending them emails, just telling them what you're doing, setting promises around what you're doing and when it's going to be done by. And then the next day, fulfilling those promises, showing them that you've done it, and then setting the next promise around the next thing. So you just have this cycle of setting promises, meeting promises. And this solves kind of the main problem that a lot of agencies do, which is where they take the money and then you don't hear from them for like a week, and then like 7 days later, they'll send you an email and be like, yep, everything's finished. And in that week, your prospect's just left in the dark. They have no idea what you're doing. And so this is why people have that feeling that agencies like don't do anything, because they can't see what you're doing because it's an online service. So if you don't tell them, they don't know. So make sure you're telling them as much as possible and communicating as much as possible around what you're doing, especially if it's a done for you service. Every day you want to be telling them, today we're doing this, tomorrow we're going to start with this, and then fulfilling that promise, showing it to them, and then moving on to the next thing. And just to provide some more context around how important onboarding is, 66% of my own clients come from referrals. And these referrals come in when we're only 2 or 3 days into the actual service being delivered. So where are these people coming from? Well, it's because referrals are not necessarily around the results. Referrals come from prospects simply liking you, liking the way you do things, and feeling really confident in your services, confident enough that they can kind of use their own name and refer you their friends. Like, referrals are not necessarily about how good your results are. It's just about how much they like you. And how much they like you, as I established, is determined by the onboarding process and how good that is in the first 24 hours after they paid you, because that's when they're forming their opinion on you and your business. Now, the next video is going to be about service delivery, so how to get your clients a 10x ROAS. This is also going to be really important in referrals, is being able to actually deliver on the promises that you made to them in the sales calls. So make sure you'll subscribe to that.